Hello, fellow cybernaut. Welcome back to this journey of mastering body and mind, the ultimate path to true human freedom. This is where you'll get a breath of that inspiration to live out an epic, meaningful story. So let me share with you some life lessons I've discovered along the way. Practical insights you can apply straight away in your day. Today we'll talk of matters of the mind. The heart of this channel is body and mind balance. You cannot truly have one without the other. So what is the most important diet of all? The most important diet regime of all, by far, is not what goes into your mouth, but what goes into your mind. Yet I see no one talking about this. You do understand that your mental state is what can make or break your day, that it's the basis for everything. Still, you let your mind be bombarded with all sorts of influences. So this episode is about being mindful of what you put your attention on, about guarding your most valuable balance. You know that feeling of listening to a song and have it loop in your head, even if you don't like the song? Or being in the receiving end of some irrelevant comment that now you keep repeating in your mind, despite your best efforts to let it go? Or when you're working on some project or reading a book, and this is what comes about in your conversations spontaneously. Well, these are just some examples that show the power that the things renting your mind have on you. Like the very well known yet not fully understood power of the placebo, this potent medicine that works every day across the world, against every disease and against which every medicine must be tested. This is the superpower of self-healing by suggestion. These programs that you consume are playing non-stop in your mind, which affects your whole well-being, your reality, your perspective, all that you are. These are very troublesome tenants that you need to keep an eye on, and they don't pay any rent. You know that if you eat something poisonous, you will be feeling bad or getting sick from it, right? The same goes for what your mind consumes, but we're just not educated in that way. And you kinda know this, but you don't usually take it as seriously as food poisoning. We think that somehow we have some control over what affects our mind, that things can just come in and out of our ears without much consequence. But we end up relaxing in a selection of what populates our attention, consciously or subconsciously. Then so we let things clog our thoughts, and we're surprised when we feel overwhelmed with clouded judgment, not knowing in which direction to go. But why do we do this? Sometimes simply because of consumption, because we're addicted to knowing stuff, consuming novelty, having an opinion about things that make absolutely no difference to our life. And we go out of our way to give attention to stuff that really does not pertain to us, like the always negative and combative news cycle, for example. Or in some cases, we just don't want to be quote-unquote rude or harsh on people, and instead we let them ruin our peace to protect their feelings. We think we are doing them a favor by just letting them discharge negativity on us, ruining our balance down the way. While we know we're not being truthful with them or ourselves, and that this sort of weird compassion of being a boxing bag for others to throw punches doesn't really help anyone. We're just fomenting hypocritical relationships where narcissists feed from other people's energy. We keep doing it to our peril and end up paying the ultimate price of mental intoxication. So take this very seriously. You must clean those interactions from your diet. Think about it as the sugars and processed foods that you know better to avoid. But I would say these are even worse. It's a big nonsense to let ourselves be harmed so that we don't harm others with our boundaries, or so that we don't shock them with our sincerity. See, most of us are just nice people. We value compassion and peace, so we avoid any conflict. We think that the price to pay is bearable. We believe we can take a hit or two, and that's easier to just take it and move on. We believe that we can just push all these thoughts to the side and forget, and we become an easy target for those who love to spread the bad vibes, especially with those we interact with on a regular basis. With them, we have to be really assertive. Look at it this way. It takes patience and kindness to raise a dog or a kid. Here it's the same thing. You're not doing nobody a favor by being lax with your boundaries. And if you do it from the beginning, and you keep your standards high, then it's settled. You probably won't have any more problems. And if you get lazy, think about this. Do you know who's definitely not forgetting all of this? Your body, through your subconscious. It's all stored within, which then arguably can be the root cause of the development of all sorts of issues: anxiety, chronic depression, and general despair. Most of the time without us even knowing what's wrong. So be really vigilant of what gets into you. Sometimes one simple thought that doesn't even have real physical implications can ruin your mood for a whole day, a week, or a month, because you keep ruminating it in the background, consciously and unconsciously. And sometimes we might even not be aware of it until we go to therapy or some major personal event hits us, forcing us to think. We kind of know that we're bothered by something, but we don't really know what. And this can go on literally for years. It's a high price to pay, right? And even if it does not manifest itself into some personal crisis, know that all of this trash is under the rug, and it's going to weigh on you sooner or later. It's going to sabotage what should be one of your greatest priorities: clarity of mind, so that you can live your life empowered and so you may follow your dreams and values. Protect your peace. Police what gets into your mind. Remember, your mental state is single-handedly the number one factor that limits you or capacitates you. So make it the priority that you deep down know it is, and protect it. No, you're not impervious to these forces. Police very seriously where you spend your attention. And the good news are that after cleaning all this trash and staying clear of all these meaningless programs that run in the background, you start having some clarity. Then you can think, then you can digest, then you can act, and you can attract. No one would ever press on a video called demotivational speech, right? Or have a relationship with someone that leaves them depressed, right? But we do, all the time. It's just that these interactions don't come labeled that way. We are not taught to protect our space. We're told that it is normal to put up with negative people, to be passive-aggressive, to talk to others about the sun and the moon without no clear objective to the interaction, without understanding the power of communication and the responsibility that it is, this exchange of thoughts. And in the process, we take in nonsense. We are influenced. In the process, we develop judgment and comparison as shields for pain and fear of inadequacy. We let our peace and focus be taken. So do as you know better. Choose really carefully with whom and what you're interacting with. And no one can do this for you. It's of the utmost importance, and it's really personal hygiene. Be mindful of where you put your mind, the links you press, the people you talk to, the stuff you let populate your mind. This applies to self-thought too. Be your best friend. Never let yourself fall into negative rabbit holes. Don't allow yourself not to be your greatest supporter for even a second. And if you're not applying the utmost compassion to yourself, who is? And if you're not impressing the greatest trust upon you, who will? Just like you diet and keep bad stuff out of your body, protect your mental space at all costs. Keep bad stuff out of your mind. Protect your peace, your self-esteem. Protect your clarity, your focus. Protect your mood, your alignment. This is the most important diet. And when in doubt, or when you don't have nothing to quote-unquote consume, no good company to entertain you, or you just don't know what to do, feed your mind some silence and gratitude. Meditate. Clear the waters within so that you can see. guarantee something good will come from that. Well, that's it for today, fellow cybernaut. I hope this message served you well and that you go and apply it straight away in your day. Share this with close ones that you think will benefit from this, and go ahead and watch all the other videos when looking for some insight and inspiration. Help me out on my mission to unleash humanity from its shackles. Like, comment, and share. Thank you for all the love. Let me know what you think about all this. If you have something to add or counter, please indulge me with your engagement. I'm not married to these stances, it's just what I like to call my current state of ignorance. Anyways, if there is a takeaway from this episode, remember, your mental state is all it takes to make it or break it, so keep it clean at all costs. Until the next one of Humanity Unleashed, clean lenses and eyes on the goal. Stay focused, stay human.